All right, says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know, and we will get this started. Sorry for being a little bit late, but 5 minutes ain't too bad. But I do appreciate y'all all being here. We do have weather today, unfortunately. It's not something I was expecting heading into the weekend. So I'm not sure if we're actually gonna get the race today or not. It's looking a little iffy. They did move the start time up a little bit, but I don't know. We will see what happens. But I do appreciate the dono. Saw Chris Jenkins off the rip. Says, with the first group faster in practice, how much do you think it skews the practice results? I really didn't think practice was too different for anybody this week, so I didn't actually think practice was too skewed. I thought it looked pretty normal overall. So it wasn't really a week that I really cared too much about the groups. Now last week, yeah, that was a huge difference, but this week I didn't really notice a huge factor, so it wasn't really something I was paying too much attention to. But I do appreciate the dono, sir. Got it loud and clear from Will. Thank you. Kyle says, I hear you, Daddy. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. And I do appreciate the dono if I didn't say that already. But we will see what happens weather-wise. I am going to pull up the Brooklyn, I believe that's where this is at, Brooklyn, Michigan weather, and see if it has changed since I looked this morning. I woke up today. I was expecting a race, but looks like the chances have at least went down a little bit from when I last looked. It was showing like 80, 90%, like pretty much throughout the day. It's gone down. Now, I think it was raining earlier, so I don't know how wet the track is, but Bob did say we're going to have to start around 3:30, I think, to get this in, because we do not have lights at Michigan, so we will see what happens. But from like 2 p.m. to 5 p.m., there's a decent chance for rain. So we will see what happens. I am not sure. But it would definitely change some things up. And sorry, I got an email there. Whoever Adam is, I do appreciate you signing up on Patreon. Thank you very much. But let me scroll to the top here, and we will go down. Just ask me any question you want, and I'll be more than happy to answer. We have lock in about an hour and a half. I got to build some lineups still, so we will see how that goes. But I see my mom's first one here. It says, hey, Spread, I'm doing pretty good. What's up, Mom? Thank you for being here. Jay Swift says, got the first question. Do you take Brad Keselowski or Bubba? That's a very good question. I like both drivers quite a bit today. I'm pretty even on both of them, but if I had to pick one, I think I got to go with Bubba just because of how good he's been at these intermediate tracks, especially in the next-gen car. But even this year, intermediates, I believe he has like 4 top 5s. And using Michigan last year, like 4 top 5s in the past 6 races, which is most of all drivers. So I think Bubba is definitely a very good tournament play. And I do like the 2311 cars in general, too. I think they'll definitely have some speed. But I do like both. Sam says, looks like another Monday race coming our way. I hope not. We will see, though. It's going to be tough to say. The rain chances have gone down. Everything I've seen says it's going to be scattered today. Thing is, though, it's a pretty big track, so you got to dry it off. And I mean, we'll see. We don't really have any lights to work with either, so it'll be tough. Anthony says, is this seriously going to be another postponement? Not sure. We will see. I kind of hope it is postponed, to be honest, though. I like these Monday races. Gives me my Sunday free. Jay Swift says if they raced Monday, Truex would win, but it's rain Monday too. Maybe it could be see, we have Marty Monday, but we could also do Truex Tuesday, so he's got them both covered, I think. What's up, Clint? Happy race day to you as well. Got Josh Balicki's biggest fan here, says happy Josh Balicki day. What's up, Jody? Says cash lineup, Truex, Busch, Byron, Bowman, LaJoy, and Cindric. I don't really think Kyle Busch is a cash play today. I'm not saying he's not playable, but I think for cash games, I'd rather go somewhere else. Like, if I was playing 3 studs in cash, it'd probably be Truex, Larson, Byron if I could make that work. It's a little expensive, but I would prefer that, or maybe Christopher Bell's and viable as well. But I don't think Busch is cash today. I think he will be lower owned. Does anyone in the field have the speed to keep up with Balicki today? Well, it's going to be hard to say. I would say he's definitely got the best car, so we will see. Maybe Corey LaJoy could outrun him, but it'll be close. Who is the best $5,900 and lower play besides LaJoy? Well, there's not much down there, but I would say Todd Gilliland is probably our next best option. He's starting in 32nd, and I don't think he's going to be as fast as LaJoy, but you don't really need him to do too great. What's up, Mundo? Says, hope we get a good race today. What's your PD plays for this race? What is up, sir? For the place differential plays, you're pretty much just looking at Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, Jones, Stenhouse, Dinger, and I mean some of the scrubs that are cheap. That's really about it. the PD plays aren't abundant. Oh, and Alex Bowman. I kind of glossed over him, but I like Alex Bowman a lot today. How we feel about the weather? Not sure. I don't know what it's going to do. The rain chances, I will say, have gone down, but I'm no weather man. I do enjoy weather, but I don't know how to model it out, so I'm not really sure what's going to happen. What's up, Stan? Dimitri says Chris will be early today. Oh, man. You know I'm not going to be early. Come on. I'm sorry for letting you down, though. Frank says if it's a rain out, that track will have zero grip on Monday. Yeah, I'm assuming we're going to have a competition caution now, too, which I guess theoretically could hurt Christopher Bell, depending on what they want to do. I mean, there's not really any wear on this track, so we'll see what happens, though. What is up, Spreader? Nice of you to be here. Stan says, thoughts on Hamlin and Harvick. Harvick has great track history. Yeah, track history is nice, but it's not my most important thing I ever look at. I mean, if we look at track history, Harvick should be dominating every race pretty much. I mean, he's always tops in track history for just about everywhere, especially last week at Richmond. I mean, I really thought Harvick was going to crush Richmond, which he didn't do awful, but I mean, he just can't really get up front. But I'm having a hard time getting to Harvick. I don't have him projected to suck. I got him projected to finishing around 12th, but that's not going to get the job done at around $10,000. Because you have Truex right above him. He can dominate the race and win. He was much faster in practice. Hamlin should be faster. Larson should be faster. Busch should be, like, all these guys should be faster. So I just have a hard time getting to Harvick. Like, track history is great and all, but I mean, it's probably like the last thing I look at these days, to be honest, especially with the next gen car. Did win here last year, though. I will give him that, but just don't really see a ton of speed out of him. Is there a punt off LaJoy? I would say Gillen's your pivot. But, I mean, I don't feel great about it, but I would say Gilland and Justin Haley if you're looking for the cheap range there. Thoughts on Bowman and Bubba in tournaments? Well, Bowman's going to be chalk today. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's the highest owned driver. Should be top 3 in ownership, so I wouldn't really call him a tournament play. You can play him in tournaments. Just know he's going to be chalky. But Bubba's a good tournament play. He's definitely a nice pivot. Off a guy like Alex Bowman, I like Bubba a lot today. I know practice wasn't like super amazing, 15th in the 1 lap, 10th in the 5, 12th in the 10, but he's a guy that you should really just expect top 10s out of him, intermediates in this car. I mean, he's just been absolutely crushing it. So I do think Bubba's a pretty good tournament play, and you will probably have like half the ownership Alex Bowman will. Good morning, Preacher. Who I think is Earl. Aaron says, Harvick didn't show much speed in practice and qualifying. How much Harvick are you comfortable with? I have him at 30% owned for my teams now. I might be a little bit lower on Harvick than everybody else. I look at all the other 10K guys and I'm like, I just don't see him outrunning them. I just don't see it happening. I know he's starting in 22nd, but I mean, I just don't see how he's going to be faster than Byron Busch, Truex, Hamlin, Larson. Then I look at the 9K guys and I don't think he's going to be faster than Bell, Blaney, Elliott Logano, maybe. But then Reddick, Chastain, I think, are better. So it's a tough price. If he was in the lower 9K range, it'd make more sense to me. But at $10,300 for a guy that I don't think has any dominator upside, it's tough. And it's not just me that thinks he's going to finish around 10th or 12th. I mean, Vegas has him finishing it's like in 12th or 13th range. So I'm not too far off of that. I got him projected for, this is what I got Harvick today. I got him for a 12.78 projected finish. He's starting in 22nd. I gave him 3.92 dominator points. And that equates to 43.5 points, give or take, with a 4.2x. Like, not terrible, but it's below all the other guys above him. I mean, him and Kyle Busch are basically the same in projections, so that's kind of a toss-up. I would say Kevin Harvick has a more of a floor, but he's not really sitting out too much for me. I think my Sims have him like around 15-ish% optimal, which I guess is fair. Ronald, I think that's how you say it. Says, hi guys, I'm new to NASCAR DFS. Is this a great experience for you guys? I mean, it can be. I think it's the most fun DFS sport. Lots of highs and lows, that's for sure. D'Angelo says, I need help picking the last 2 for large field GPP. Gibbs and Stenhouse, or Jones and Suarez, or McDowell and Wallace. Thank you. And that's a pretty good trio of questions there. I want to say Gibbs and Stenhouse for tournaments just because Gibbs is going to be lower owned for where he's starting. But I think McDowell and Wallace project the best for me out of that group. So I'd probably say McDowell and Wallace. McDowell's actually projecting a lot better than I thought. I got him for a 21st place finish, which, no, it's not amazing. It's 25 points, but He's like one of the few drivers in the back that's giving me a 4x projection, so don't hate McDowell. And then I do like Webb a lot for tournaments. Back at you, Earl. Hopefully we can get the race in. Rahul says, race day, baby. Good morning, y'all. Hopefully it's a race day. Not sure yet. We will see what happened. They did move up the green flag from 249 to 230, I think, on the dot. But we will see if that happens. What's up, Chris? Looking forward to another good week. Yeah, hopefully it is, Robert. Hopefully it is. Did kind of get screwed on a couple cautions last week. I forget what it was. Daniel Suarez wrecked at the end, and that was the only caution. There wasn't a couple of cautions. There was just one caution. Daniel Suarez wrecked, and I think something happened where I lost some spots at the end. I don't remember. It could have gone better. But the RFK boys definitely showed up last week. What's up, Carmi? What's up, Ron? Says, hey, Chris, who are your 2 to 3 must-play DOMs today and the 1-2 PD low-tier plays? I mean, my favorite dominators today are going to be Martin Truex Jr. and William Byron. Also, you can throw in Christopher Bell, and then also like Kyle Larson, but I don't know if you want to call him a dominator starting in 17th. As far as place differential plays that are cheap, I do like Alex Bowman. I like Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Eric Jones, those kind of guys. I think makes some sense. Also, who you liking in the 7K range above Dinger? Tough range. Let me see. 7K range above Dinger. Yeah, it's pretty much just Stenhouse for me, Eric Jones. Same 2 guys there that offer place differential upside with top 20 potential. So do like them. Suarez isn't a bad GPP play either. What's up, Pugsley? Wayne says 1 or 2 dominators and place differential seems like the strategy. Any driver starting in the rear outside the top 10 that could be dominators. Getting possibly 5. By the way, you demand. Appreciate it, Wayne. Yeah, I think that's a fair strategy for a race like this. We got 200 laps, so it's not like there's a ton of dominator points to go around. And guys outside the top 10 that could be dominators, I think Kyle Larson's public enemy number 1 for that. We also had Denny Hamlin, who could be a dominator outside the top 10. Tyler Reddick could as well. Bubba has an outside shot at that. That's really about it. That's starting outside the top 10 that could potentially dominate. Yeah, Joy's in the rear, but he's already back in the rear anyway, so probably pass those guys in 1 lap. Some pretty bad cars back there. And LaJoy actually, he showed some speed in practice. RaceFan22 says, Byron, Truex, and Blaney are my 3 core guys today. See how it works out. I like all 3 of those guys. I actually wrote all 3 up in my article. I know I'm not usually heavy on the Fords at tracks like this, but they've been coming back a bit. And I do like Brad Keselowski quite a bit today. I like Ryan Blaney. He showed a lot of speed, so I'm fine with that. And then obviously I love Byron and Truex. So, and as far as I know, it's just LaJoy unless I missed something. Napalm says, Chris must be getting his chicken out of the wire. I don't even know what that means. 5J says, this is for a single entry tournament. Larson, Bubba, Bowman, Gibbs, Jones, Stenhouse. Gibbs is my only concern. Who would you pivot off of him? I think it looks good. Now, you're just keep in mind you're not really putting anybody up front that can dominate besides Ty Gibbs, although I'm not really viewing him as a dominator. But I think Gibbs makes sense in that build because you don't have anybody else up front. So, I mean, if Gibbs does anything, like if he happens to get out front and dominate, that's a pretty good looking lineup. Now, the chances of that happening are pretty low, but I think that works well. Because if you had another place differential guy instead of Ty Gibbs, because he is, what, $8,100? Because if you had like a Keselowski instead, or I know you have Bowman, but if you had another Bowman in there, you wouldn't have anybody up front. So I don't think that's a bad way to go. Pugsley says, I went Larson, Byron, Reddick, Bowman, Haley, and Gillen. Leaves me 700. Should I make any changes? No, I think that's a good looking lineup. I have no problem with that. 700 is fine to leave on the table. Are they going to race today? I hope so. I don't know, though. Going to be a guessing game, and I am not one to guess the weather. Frank says, the Joy will pass the lawnmowers easily, and he'll be in his original spot in no time. Yeah, I have no concern with him going to the rear at all. Preacher says, competition caution lap 20. Is it lap? Did they announce that? I mean, it would make sense since it's raining, but let me check Bobby P's Twitter. Bob says 75 minutes for the green. Right now the radar is promising, but there are storms building from the south. Yeah, I see those kind of popping up a little bit. We'll see. To the rear, we have LaJoy, Berry, Yaley, Hill for adjustments, all just bumps in the back anyway. Competition caution lap 20 is official. So I would say that probably hurts Christopher Bell the most, just because, I mean, before that he probably could have got just strung out a bit if his car was that good. So bunching them back up lap 20 just makes more potential for him to get past under the restart, or they want to pit or whatever they want to do. So just keep that in mind. I do think it hurts Bell just a little bit, but let's have the number 1 pit stall. Let's see. Appreciate Calvin for signing up on Patreon. Sorry, just read my email. Let's get a paper. Don't forget about Harvick, says Johnny. Not forgetting about him, but Juan says, Chris, that 5 cars, do you think Larson pulls the win? I don't know if he's going to pull the win or not. I wouldn't be surprised, but my projected finish here, my top 5 projected finishers, we got Truex, Bell, Byron, Larson, and Hamlin. And I did place a couple bets before I got on live here. I had Byron early in the week at 10 or 11 to 1 on BetMGM. I feel good about that. The number went down and he looked great in practice. Good qualifying effort. So I feel good about the Byron bet. And then I just added Truex at plus 850 on Barstool. He's 750 on DK. I got the Truex to win at plus 850. And then I got Ty Gibbs. Sean pointed this out to me in Discord. Ty Gibbs top 10 at plus 120 on Barstool, which I mean, getting plus odds on the guy that qualified third and had a lot of speed seems pretty good to me. So full card for me would be Byron 10 to 1, Truex at 850, and then Ty Gibbs top 10 at plus 120. So that's what we got going today, just to be transparent with y'all. Spread says move the race a couple minutes, 2:30, new start. Yeah, we'll see if it starts though. I don't know. Rain scattered around. Not sure what'll happen. I just hope it's not one of those things where we get the cars on the track, do some pace laps, then it rains, we bring them down pit road, then we're done for the day, and then contests are locked and we have to stare at them all day. I hate that. Any thoughts on Barry and what car is he in? Barry is in for Noah Gragson, and if you know anything about legacy cars, they suck. So I'm not too excited about it. Now he is starting just about dead last, so like it could be worse. If you're looking at how practice went, 32 in the 1 lap, 30th in the 5, 20th in the 10, which 20 cars are in the 10 laps, so I don't think he got fast or anything. So I'm okay with it as a pump play, but the thing is though, he's $6,400, and I would rather play Michael McDowell, who's cheaper, who has at least shown top 20 upside. So not super excited about Barry. Is Ty Gibbs a good bet for top 3 at 6 to 1? I don't hate it. Although I did the top 10, but if you wanted to put a sprinkle on top 3, go for it. But I do like Ty Gibbs today. DFS, it's kind of hard to get to him, but he's got a fast car. So I do like him a bit. Like I don't have much of him in DFS, but exposure and bets is one way to at least get some action on Ty today. Sam says Reddick, Bubba, Bell, Jones, Dinger, Bowman, single entry. I think it looks pretty good. So you have Bell up front. And then we got Reddick, Bubba. Yeah, I think that's not bad at all. Don't mind that. What's up, Jay Smokes? Says I'm rolling Hendrick today. Each one of them look amazing in my opinion. I'd have to agree with that. They all look pretty good to me. The only play in the 20s I like is Harvick, but even then I'm skeptical even though the track history. Yeah, I mean, track history obviously is amazing for Harvick. Like he's the man here at Michigan. He won here last year, which I don't think was really expected, but it's just tough. At that price point, it's really tough. You just gotta look at everybody else he's priced around. If he was like $200, sure, I'd be about Kevin Harvick today. But at $10,300, it's a tough task. Jesse says currently at the track, starting to clear up, and the track is drawing nicely. Go Blaney. Well, hopefully the rain stays away then, and we can get something in. But we will see. Bob did say it's building a bit, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But hopefully you enjoy the race. Mitchell says I went to a Michigan NASCAR race when I was 10, about 20 years ago, and it poured. Well, hopefully it doesn't mean it's going to happen again, Mitchell. But hopefully you enjoyed the race 20 years ago. I was barely alive then. Apone says, can you explain the cash core briefly? Yeah, if I'm playing cash today, I'm probably throwing in Larson first. He's starting 17th. He's a top 5 contender everywhere. Probably just going to throw in Larson. I am more than likely putting in William Byron starting in 7th. And then I also like Alex Bowman. So I'm pretty much going the 300 guys in cash to start. Now, if you wanted to pivot one of those guys like Larson to a Martin Truex, I'm fine with that as well. But I would say Byron and Bowman are my 2 favorites in cash today. But Byron just extremely fast in practice, great pit stall, great numbers at these kind of tracks. Then Alex Bowman, great numbers at these tracks this year, fast car in practice. He's starting in 20th. He's cheap for a Hendrick car. Just hard not to like it. How much we leaving on the table? I wouldn't leave too much on the table. Not really a week to do that, I don't think. Thoughts on Josh Berry? He's in an awful car. Not expecting fireworks out of him. David says, Bubba, I do like Bubba today for GPPs. Wouldn't go there in cash games, but I do think it makes a lot of sense in tournaments. What is up, Mom? Says, not sure what happened to my first message. Yeah, they disappear sometimes. It's kind of tough. Says, hi, NASCAR fam. Good luck, everyone. Go Logano. And 3 more. Yeah, I will see you in 3 days. You'll be in Florida, so hopefully the weather is good. It storms every day, but hopefully it'll stay away for the most part. So Bubba over Blaney. I think I have Blaney still projected a little higher than Bubba Wallace. I got Blaney at 40.1. I got Bubba at 37.1. So about a 3-point difference there. Race fan says Bell or Blaney. I have Bell projected higher. He just has more Dominator upside. Sorry, I was reading another message. It says SS Jackson says Price Picks lowered Bowman's fantasy score from 34.5 to 32.5. So I saw that. Then I saw it went back to 34.5. So let me see what it is now. Yeah, so it's back up to 34.5. I took the over on the 34.5, I think. Or did I get it at 32? Either way, I was surprised it went down at first. It went back up, but I thought that was weird because I have Alex Bowman projected at 40.1 points today, 5x value. And that's not giving him like a 8th place finish or anything. It's 40.17 points with a 13.2 projected finish, threw in a couple fast laps mixed in. So I thought the number was pretty low. So if you got 32.5, I'd feel pretty good about that. I mean, basically just winning for a top 15, which I think is very possible from Alex Bowman. I think they got that number too low this week. Got it done from a main man spread. Appreciate that. Says we need our weatherman in here. Thomas Scaris. Thomas Scaris, that's right. Go Blaney. I think Blaney's got some potential today. But hopefully we can get our weatherman in. Could definitely use him today, especially with scattered storms. Javier says, Blaney going to get squeezed? What do you mean by squeezed? Not totally sure what you mean there. Got a lot of people signing up on Patreon. I do appreciate that. So shout out to John. Shout out to Eric. There was a couple more too, but they kind of disappeared on me. But shout out to y'all. And if you guys want to check it out completely free for a week, do that in the link down below in this video or in this live stream, I should say, in the description. Completely free if you want to check out the projections and whatnot for a week. Are you fading Kyle Busch? I'm not going to have a ton of Kyle Busch. Like, I did a 3 max and a single entry, and he was not in those lineups. He's going to filter in 20 max and 150 a little bit, but it's definitely not going to be as high as the other 5-figure drivers. Dave says, do you watch / listen to any NASCAR DFS YouTubers like yourself? And if so, who do you listen to? Not really. I do like to listen to Cruz's live streams because I think they're pretty entertaining. But outside of that, I don't really think anybody else does content, honestly. There used to be on YouTube, there used to be like a handful of people that did it, but I don't think they really do anything anymore. So it's really just me and him. So I like listening to his in the mornings usually, and they're just pretty entertaining. But that's really about it. Like, I just do my own content, and then like I don't really like to listen to sports and stuff too much because I'm working on it all day. So it's kind of nice to watch other stuff, get your mind off of it. You know what I mean? But there's really not that much NASCAR DFS content out there. There used to be more, but I guess they kind of quit doing it for the most part. Marcus says, all the thanks for what you do, sir. Well, thank you for watching, Marcus. I couldn't do it if you guys didn't watch. So you got to give yourself a pat on the back as well. Adam says, currently have 18 drivers in my player pool. Who are some drivers that you like but will be lower on? So drivers that I like that I'll be lower on. I mean, I don't hate Chase Elliott today, but I feel like I'm going to have to be a little bit lower on him just because I'm getting to other people in that similar price range. Probably be lower on. I like Ty Gibbs and I like Ty Gibbs overall today, but for DFS it'll be tough to get to him. I think Suarez is somewhat interesting, but tougher to get to him. It's kind of about it. Like Denny Hamlin, I'm not sure how much I'll get to, just because I like Larson more and Truex, but I do like him. So that's actually a good question, because there is drivers I say that I like, but when I'm building laps, I just can't get to them quite as much as others. So probably say like Hamlin, Gibbs, Elliott would just be some of the guys that stand out for that. Chris says, what 3 drivers would you start your lineup with in GPP? If it's a tournament, I feel like I'd want to go with like a Truex Byron starting combination, something like that. And then I'd be trying to get Bubba. I know it's kind of expensive, but I think you can make that work. I think that's a good starting point for tournaments. Very good play at his price. It's a little expensive for a legacy car. I mean, I feel like he could drive better than Gregson, but starting in 35th, I mean, what's really the upside here in the legacy car? So we will see what happens. Races at 2:30. Bob posted they might move the race up an hour today. I don't think they can move it up an hour. I think you have to do that like 24 hours in advance or something. What's up, Steve? Says, good afternoon. I'm in a league that we pick 1 driver per week. I have Blaney and Busch for either Michigan or Daytona before the chase. Wasn't sure which one to use at this track. Oh, man. Both make sense for both tracks. I would say... I feel like I feel better, I guess, with Blaney at Daytona, so maybe Busch today. But also, Busch has been good at the super speedways, too. So really, it's a coin flip. If you're looking at the practice numbers, Busch and Blaney are right next to each other, both in like the top 5 or 6 here. So this is kind of like an impossible question. I guess I would say Ryan Blaney. I'd feel better about it at Daytona, so I'd say Kyle Busch today, I guess. But really just splitting hairs. All place differential okay for cash today? How far back are we talking? Like, is our place differential plays Larson, Harvick, Reddick, or something like that? I don't know. I feel like I'd want one guy in the top 10, like a Truex or Byron, mixed in with them. Stenhouse thoughts? I like Stenhouse today. I like him at these larger tracks. And I believe he showed top 20 speed in practice. 23rd and 20 in the 5 lap. Close enough. Starting in 27th, I think he's fine to play. How was the Stewart-Haas drivers, Harvick, and what other drivers? So you have Harvick, you have Almirola, Briscoe, and Ryan Preece. None of them really showed a lot of speed in practice, so I'm not really high on Stewart-Haas. We liked them last week because they're good at short flats. That's when you play Stewart-Haas cars. This is not really the best week to do it. But yeah, they were great last week. I think if Almirola never gets that penalty, he might have won the race. It was like cheating at one point. I think it was on the first run, and we were like 40 laps in, and he was just putting down insane laps. Went from, what was it, like 24th to 8th or something like that, 24th to 7th. Then I guess the speeding, or whatever it was, uncontrolled, whatever, sucked. He came back, though. Obviously, still a great day from Almirola, but I think he honestly could have won the race. And Ryan Preece was awesome, too. And who else? Briscoe was okay. He was pretty solid. I think he got in the top 10. What's up, Ms. Jewel? Says, hi, handsome. Right back. Well, not handsome. I should say beautiful. But happy race day for everyone. Thank you for stopping by and enjoy leg day. I know you got legs going on right now. Philly says, thoughts on Byron, Elliott, Brad-Keselowski, Bubba, McDowell, Allmendinger. What would you change? Well, I like Byron up front. I don't mind Elliott. I don't know why Oakley's barking. I don't think anyone's even home. I don't know if I'd really change anything. I think it looks pretty good. I mean, you got Byron up front. You got Chase Elliott, Keselowski, Bubba. I think it looks pretty good. Blaney or Bell and Fandle? Let me check. That's got to be really close in projections. So I still have Bell a little bit higher in Fandle, but it's like 2 points. Kyle says, Ty Dillon not getting any love. Good track history, 2 top 20s. Where does he need to place for tournaments to be relevant? Wow. Like, that's one of the things. You can't really look at track history too much. I mean, Ty Dillon's in junk now. Not that he's ever been an amazing equipment, but that 13 car back in the day wasn't the absolute worst. Wasn't the worst, but I mean, he's in a bad ride these days. Like, I would say his upside is probably a top. If he got 28 today, I think Ty Dillon would feel pretty good. And he used to be in the 42 car as well. Now he's just in the 77 with Spire, and times are tough for old Ty. Practice 31st in the 1 lap, 33rd in the 5 lap. I just don't see upside here. So I'll be passing. And if you're looking at this season's numbers, intermediates, I think he's got an average running position of 27th, drive rating of 41, which I believe is the worst, only besides JJ Yeley and Josh Bilicki. So not a lot to get excited about. How much bear are you playing? So probably no more than like a sprinkle. I think he popped up in the Sims like around 10%. On FanDuel, I will say he is free. He is $2,500, so maybe just a little bit over there to play whatever other drivers you want, because he is $2,500 over there. So a little bit of a price discrepancy compared to DraftKings. Well, I lost my spot. Thoughts on Blaney? I do like Blaney today. Showed borderline top 5 speed. He's starting in 9th, right? He's starting in 9th. I don't mind him here. Could definitely be a top 5 contender. Pick up fast laps along the way. He's got an outside chance of dominating, getting up front in this race, but I do think he kind of hangs around the top 8 for the most part. Just gotta hope he steals some fast laps. Yeah, there's definitely rain in the forecast. It has been changing a bit, but we will see what happens. On FanDuel, pick one between Bowman, Keselowski, and Gibbs. Also Reddick or Bubba. On FanDuel, I would have to probably go Reddick over Bubba. Similar upside there, but more starting position upside. Or place differential, I should say. And then I have more Bowman than the rest of those 3. Anderson Suarez, not a ton. He wasn't that fast in practice. Starting in 14th, I just feel like it's not the most potential in the world. Justin Sports says, pretty fluid in DFS, but when it comes to NASCAR, I'm pretty confused on what making groups means. Like, what's a top 10 group mean when building lineups? I don't do a top 10 group, but like a dominator group is probably the most popular combination. I don't even know why I say combination. Most popular thing to do. So if I'm doing like a dom group today, I'm putting in Bell, Blaney Elliott, Chastain, Gibbs, Busch, Truex, those kind of guys, Byron. And then I would set it to like at least 1 or 2. So you make sure you get at least one of those guys popping up in every lineup, because you don't want to line up full place differential and you miss out on some of the dominator points, if that makes any sense. Some people like to do these place differential group things. I get asked that every week. I don't do that, but to each their own. Brian says, single entry, I have Larson, Truex, Byron, Ricky, and LaJoy. 6,200 left. Who is the next best? You have 6,200 left. The next best is probably Michael McDowell for me. McDowell or Justin Haley. Who does this track favor? Fast cars? Well, you're going to want fast cars everywhere. But, I mean, yeah, this is a large track. I mean, you just need raw speed here, so yeah. Cash thoughts? I mean, I think the Hendrick guys make a lot of sense in cash today. Larson, Byron, Alex Bowman. Cheap guys, probably like a Corey LaJoy or a Allmendinger, Eric Jones, Stenhouse, those kind of guys. I think makes sense to round it out. Thoughts on Priest and Briscoe? I just don't really love SHR today. Like, if they want to burn me, go ahead, but I don't love it. Thoughts on Ross from a non-DFS perspective? I mean, I think he's fun. I mean, sometimes he costs me money because he wrecks my guys, but outside of that, I mean, I think he's fun to have in NASCAR. Plus, he lives like 20 minutes away from me in Florida, so, I mean, I guess I got room for the hometown guy. Jones or Bowman? I'd have to go Bowman there. What's up, Bolster? Says FanDuel's a lot of fun to build again this week. I thought so, too. This is actually one of my more fun weeks to build on FanDuel. Do appreciate it. We got over 400 people here. And we have just under an hour for the race to start. I think we're making good time. Tyler says, oh, anyway, yeah, speaking about FanDuel, you can make some really good lineups over there. Like, one of the lineups I built over there, Bull, was like, I want to say it was like Larson, Byron, Wallace, Keselowski, Bowman, something like that. Like, I don't know. You can just build some really good balanced builds with all these guys starting inside the top 10 or finishing inside the top 10. Tyler says Byron, Jones, McDowell, Stenhouse, Truex, and Wallace. So let me see. I like to sort this by salary, at least try to. Truex and Byron I like up top. I like Bubba for tournaments. Jones, McDowell, Stenhouse. That doesn't look bad at all. I think that can work. Sorry, I'm fashionably late. I was just trying to be like Chris. Hey, I respect it, Bull. I can respect a good fashionably late. Although, I'm not really sure I'd call it fashionably late. You were just late today. But we'll let it slide. What is oh, gross point. Who are we considering making? Are we considering making range short and race lineups? Is there a chance to get a minimum in today? See, I'm not really sure what the difference would be, to be honest. Like, I mean, a range short and race, I just feel like it'd be like the same thing. There's just less laps. I guess more like a road course considering the amount of laps we'd have, but you're kind of building that way anyway. I mean, I don't really think it makes too much of a difference because it's not like if it's a range short and race, they all just wreck and half the field's out and then we get all these bums in the back. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't really know if it makes much of a difference. But no, I am not building for range short and race because I'm looking at the radar and the hourly forecast. And let me see if it's changed. So we can start, but then if it's going to rain, it's going to be like pretty close to when the green flag drops. So we're not going to get halfway, I don't think, if it starts to rain. So we will see. I'm just not really sure what a range short and race lineups would look, how different they would look anyway. Because then you can look at it from two perspectives. Like there's less dominator points to go around, so the place differential plays work out. But at the same time, there's less time for the place differential plays to get to the front. And then the guys up front are just still up front. So I don't know. I don't really think it makes too much of a difference. I hope they race today. I actually got off from work. Don't get to see many. Well, hopefully they get it in Philly. That does suck for the people that wouldn't be able to see it. Pat says Toyota wins the race. Not a hot take, just saying, picking Gibbs. I don't hate Gibbs as a long shot. He actually is showing slight value for me in the betting market. So I don't mind it. But I do think a Yoda or a Chevy gets it done. But it kind of is a hot take, because Ford just wins every single race here, it seems like. 7,400 left. What's my play? Probably, I'd say Jones or Stenhouse, if you don't have either one. If you have one, pick the other, and if you don't, I would say flip a coin probably. What is up? Eric Dew. I thought that was going to be Eric, the other Eric, but it's not. It says single entry GPP. Who would you start your build with? Probably Truex and Byron, I think. I don't know why I was having a stroke there saying Byron. Thoughts on Chase Elliott finally winning? I don't know if that's going to happen today or not. It doesn't look like he's got the top end car for it. I think he could run well, but I'm not sure he's going to win. I think Elliott makes more sense on FanDuel today at that price. Got another Eric. Truex, Byron, Elliott, Keselowski, Chastain for FanDuel GPP. Word it's too chalky. How would you get more contrarian? I mean, it is pretty chalky. I'm not really sure how else you'd get different, though. Maybe if we made, like, Elliott into a... Well, if you're trying to get less chalky, I would say take out one of those 7 to 8K drivers and put in Ty Gibbs. It's probably the best way to do it. It's not going to project as well, but that'd be the one way to get different. Keselowski gets the win today. You think RFK is going back to back? I do think Brad should run well, but I don't know if he'll get the win. Do like him in DFS, though. More on FanDuel than DraftKings. Blaney, Chastain, LaJoy, Truex, Yaley, Byron. I don't think it's bad. Yaley was the one that's throwing me off, but if he just survives and finishes 30th, I guess things could be worse. What is up, Swing Trader? Thoughts on Logano? I'm not playing Logano today. If Logano wins the race, just know I did poorly. I don't know. He wasn't great in practice. Let me pull up his numbers here. So Logano was starting in 6th. Practice was 20th, 19th, 13th. Just seems like he qualified a bit high. I don't really see him improving upon his position. If you're looking at his numbers, intermediates and similar tracks, we're talking an average finish of 18.7, 15 running position, 15.7 DraftKings points per race. It's just not that pretty. So I'm willing to bet he's not in the optimal. If he is, whatever. Can't play everybody. Is it possible to get first using all of salary? It's possible, yeah. I mean, I don't know if you might end up sharing, but it's certainly possible. I mean, if you can build a 50K salary with a loan guy or two, it's certainly possible. Tasha's bad idea. Ross last man in over Bubba for single entry. It's not a bad idea. I would not play Ross if you already have Bell though. So I guess it would depend on your build. Who's my 3 sleepers? Like to win for DFS. I would say sleepers today. Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain. I'm not really sure there's a ton of sleepers out there. I would say those are like 2 sleepers to win. Haley or McDowell in the final spot. Oh, that's tough, Jody. That is very tough. I had McDowell slightly higher, a couple points, so I guess that's what I'd have to say. Dustin says, Dinger, Bowman, LaJoy, Byron, Truex, and Reddick in a GPP. Yeah, that can work. I like Truex and Byron. I like Reddick, Dinger, Bowman. That looks pretty good to me. And I did not say anything about Suarez. Well, I mentioned him briefly, but I don't really have a strong stance on him. I have him projected for right around 25-ish points. Not great. So I'm not super high on Daniel Suarez today. How much Bell is too much? My Sims like him around 30-ish% of the time, so I don't know if I'd go too much higher than that. Especially with the competition caution, it can always just... I mean, if he loses the lead early on, he's not going to be a good play if he doesn't dominate. So you definitely need him to lead a bit. It's not like he's 8K or anything. He's almost 10,000 bucks. You like Dinger for cash? He's not like my first pick in the world, but if he's like a last piece guy, I'm fine with it. Who do you like for cash place differential? Like Jones, Stenhouse, LaJoy, Bowman, Larson. I think those guys make sense. Bubba or Kess, last man in. I'd have to go with Bubba there. It's really close, but Bubba's just been so good at intermediates. What's up, Mad Dog? Says, hey, Chris, I got Bowman, Byron, LaJoy, Larson, McDowell, and Reddick for tournaments. What do you think? I mean, I like it. You got Byron, Larson, Reddick. Yeah, I think that looks good. What's up, John? So, your thoughts on Reddick and Allmendinger and GPPs? I like Reddick today. I like the 2311 cars. I mean, Reddick is kind of in the same boat as Larson and Hamlin, but you're getting him at a $2,000 discount. And Kevin Harvick. So I do like Reddick today quite a bit. Should be fast. And then for Allmendinger, I believe he was showing some decent speed in practice, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 12th in the 1 lap, 9th in the 5, 11th in the 10. So I am fine with both of those guys. Let me pull up Bob's Twitter and make sure I'm not missing anything too important here. Race getting pushed back, something like that. Sorry, I had to answer a question. Okay. Let's see. What do we got, Bob? All right, it says, this is what will be tough. This is what will be the tough part of trying to figure out today. Cells are building but moving quickly. Yeah, it looks like another band of rain's about to hit the track in about, well, I have no idea how fast that's going, but I would say like in about an hour, maybe less. Just looking at the it doesn't look like it's heavy rain, but it is building up, so we will see. But I would say that's most likely going to hit it. Not to be a downer, but I don't think my eyes are lying to me. What's up, Doug? Steve says, I'm Dinger McDowell. Ooh, that's a close one. I have Dinger slightly above McDowell today. Charles says, entertaining indeed. Oh, talking about Cruz. Yeah, yeah, Cruz is a character. Denny or Martin? I'd have to go with Truex. I think he's more likely to dominate today. Thoughts on Busher? Busher is starting too far up for me. We liked him last week. Probably jumping off this week. He's just starting in 4th. I don't see him finishing top 5 today. FanDuel, maybe at $6,000 bucks. That's not the worst play. but on DraftKings, it's almost impossible to get there because he's right around Ty Gibbs, who looks faster, Bowman, Keselowski, Bubba, Chastain. So probably not really getting to Mr. Busher today. Bull says might be crazy, but with the competition caution, I like Gibbs more on DraftKings. Yeah, I mean, his pit crew has been really good. No doubt about that. I think we all remember the All-Star event, how good Ty Gibbs' crew was. Answered that one already. Yeah, I don't do anything else 5J. Brian says Bell, Byron, Truex, Haley, Gibbs, and Gilliland. Doesn't look bad. So we got Byron, Truex, Bell. Yeah, that can work. Although I feel like a lot of my Bell builds would have like a Larson in there instead of like a Truex and Byron, just because you have so many guys up front. But I'm not saying it can't work. Larson, Byron, Bowman, Eric, and Stenhouse and Dinger for cash games. Yeah, that can work. That can work, Doug. I don't mind it. It's pretty balanced, I think, as well. Brett says, any left for Chastain and DraftKings GPPs? I don't mind him because of the price point. On FanDuel, he's only $8,000. So, I mean, just throw him in there at the end of builds, and it's really not that bad. Like, he's only a couple $100 more than Chris Buescher over there. But on DK, like, he's definitely got a chance to dominate. I mean, especially since we get the competition caution on lap 20. I mean, anything can happen. So, I'm okay with him in tournaments. I think my Sims liked him around... Oh, where's he at? Right around 15% of the time. So, I mean, not like amazing, but he's worth a little bit. Best DK driver other than McDowell, under $6,500. Under $6,500. First guy that pops up for me is Justin Haley. Good luck to you as well, Stan. Brad and Stenhouse or Reddick and McDowell? Ooh, that's a toughie. I would probably say Reddick and McDowell, I think Reddick's got more of the ceiling there compared to Keselowski. Chris, if you had to bet the house on it, Byron or Larson, who do you think has the best car? I think Byron's probably got the best car. Byron might have the best car in the field, to be honest, him or Truex. That's who I'm like the most confident in today. So I guess if I had to pick between Byron and Larson, I would take Byron. No problem, Steve. Thank you for being here. Bull says we want Oakley to come say hi. Well, if Oakley can learn how to open the door, he's more than welcome to come in, but I'm not getting up. John says, only other YouTuber I've seen besides Cruz is Fast Car, Fast Money. Oh, I think I've seen them on Twitter. I don't know if I've seen them on YouTube, though. But there used to be a lot more. I think there was, oh, who else is... I don't remember their names. What is up, Sarah from Mississippi? Hopefully you're staying alive down there. Isn't it like really, really humid in that area? Like Louisiana, Mississippi. It's got to be a little rough. Dinger okay today? Yeah, I like Dinger. Amunda says, last driver in, McDowell, Haley, or Cindric. I would go with McDowell there. Brian says, Bowman, Elliott, Larson, Reddick, Gilliland, and Stenhouse. What do I think? I mean, it's going to project well, but you don't really have anybody up front. Elliott would be your best bet. So if the guys up front don't really run away with the race and dominate a ton, and those guys can make their way through the field and be factors, I think that can work out. But mine pretty much have a guy up front-ish. Not saying they have to be on the front row, but it's viable. I do worry about early dominator points potentially. Someone's at the door, Chuckles is barking. Maybe we got a package. I don't know. Hopefully no one's in there. They could be taking all my stuff right now. Is Justin Haley fine for value? Yeah, he's fine. Bowling the Elf says, it will be interesting to see how Barry runs today. It would be a real indictment on Gregson if Barry runs well. Yeah, if he does run well, that would definitely make him look pretty bad. But I was looking at practice, and it's not like Barry really ran away with it or anything. He was 32nd, 30th, and 20th. So, and again, 20 cars are in the time lap, so not like he got faster or anything. So we will see. Best large field tournament plays like Bubba, Ty Gibbs, Michael McDowell. I think is a good tournament play. I don't know if a lot of people will go there. Blaney, Reddick. Sorry, I was checking my mic. Adam says, are there any must plays this week due to price? Guys you expect to have high ownership due to their price or starting position? I think Bowman's going to be very chalky today, starting at 20th. He's only $8,000. It seems a bit cheap for a Hendrick car. So I do think he'll be pretty popular. I know I myself, I have a lot of him. But other than that, I don't really think there's any must plays. I think Byron's kind of cheap. But this is one of those weeks where I think it's really spread out. Like, there's some weeks I have guys projected for over 40% ownership. My highest guy I have is like in the low 30s for projected ownership. So I do think it'll be pretty spread out, which I think makes for better slates. 9K left on DraftKings. Bubba, Chastain, Keselowski, or Gibbs. I think I have Wallace projected the highest out of that group. Let me check. Yeah, it's Bubba by a little bit. Just by a little bit. Cindric or McDowell? Phew. Cindric's just so bad this year. I think I'd have to go Michael McDowell. Yeah, I got him projected a bit better. I got Cindric projected for a 22.88 projected finish. Top of the morning to you as well, Jim. Although it's about 2 p.m., so we're not quite in the morning. I'm playing Hamlin, Harvick, Bell, Bowman, Burton, and Gillen. Thoughts? I'm not super high on a couple of those drivers, but I don't hate the roster construction because you do have Bell up front with some of the PD big names, so it could definitely be worse. Dinger is fine for cash games. I'm all right with that. Wayne says, who would you pick? McDowell, Dillon, Cindric, Almirola, Briscoe for GPP. I have Michael McDowell as the highest. Doesn't feel good saying, but that would be the highest right there. Dominator, what settings for DraftKings and FanDuel? I would just set it to at least one Dom, and then it's kind of obvious who the Dominators are. As far as settings, probably like 20 to 30% randomness, but that's really about it. I don't think it's a week you have to get crazy on the settings. The only weeks I get crazy on settings is, didn't mean to punch my desk, is really Daytona or Talladega. It's really where I kind of get into the settings too much. But other than that, I don't really think you have to get too far into the settings in NASCAR because it's just a lot of variance. I don't want to trap myself into a certain construction, which might not be the most optimal way to go. Could this be a week Burton shows up? Phew. If anyone knows if there's a week that Burton's showing up, I'd like to know. I don't know how he's going to show up though. Look at his practice numbers. I mean, he was not terrible. Well, never mind. That was Cindric's numbers. Yeah, Burton was pretty terrible. 30th in the 1 lap, 29th in the 5 is not great. So I don't know. I don't see how it's going to work out for Burton. 400 people and 29 likes. I hope we got more than 29 likes. Maybe yours is just lagging behind. Yeah, we got over 100. If we could get that closer to 200 by the time I get out of here, that'd be awesome. Truex, Larson, Byron, and Bowman with LaJoy and Yaley. Too risky. If it's cash games, I think you were asking me about cash games earlier, Jody. I wouldn't play Yaley in cash personally. The rest of your build looks great though. Esco says, any good alternative for Bubba under $8,400? Yeah, I mean Ty Gibbs and Bowman. Those are probably the two top guys right there. Hockey Freak Sean says, this is a Dom race or place differential. I'm late to the show as always. I'm late to my own show all the time anyway, so don't worry about it. I mean, it's like a mixture. It's only 200 laps, so it's not like there's a ton. But you're still going to need some Dominator points. So it's really just a mixture. Thoughts on Byron, Bell, Bubba, Blaney, McDowell, and LaJoy? It's a good lineup. You have Byron who can dominate. Bell, Bubba could be a Dominator, but could be a top 5 guy. Blaney. So I think it looks overall pretty solid. Is 55% enough for Bell and Byron for a 20 max? I mean, you're going to have more than me. I won't have that much, but if you really like those two drivers, that's fine. I'm probably not going above like 60% on anybody in a 20 max today. I think it's a decent week to be a little bit spread out. Byron, though? Oh, maybe I read it wrong. For some reason, I thought you said Blaney. Byron, I'm okay with 55%. Blaney that would have been too much for Blaney, in my opinion. I guess I just can't read. Too many B's going on. What's up, Dwayne? Says, for DraftKings GP, do I like Byron, Harvick, Bowman, Bell, Allmendinger, and Ty Dillon? Ty Dillon's really tough for me. If maybe you could drop Harvick down to a cheaper driver like a Reddick. I think Reddick's a pretty similar play to Harvick. You save about $1,000. Then you can move Ty Dillon up to like a LaJoy. I think that would feel a little bit better to me. Something like that. What's my take on Bell today? The competition caution worries me slightly because you just never know. Things can change. So I still like him, but I only have Bell projected for 47 points, which is not bad. It's close to 5x. Like, I'm okay with Bell. I'm not against Bell today. He's not my favorite play in the world, but I gave him 36 laps led, 11 fast laps, which might be a little bit low. I should probably up that a little bit. Or did I? I feel like that maybe didn't match over right. I think I have him for just a little bit more than 11 fast laps. But either way, 36 laps led, I gave him around 14 dominator points. Not bad. But if he does not lead a good chunk of that first stage, he would be in trouble. Chalk East in the 10K, I think it's going to be Larson. But if it's not Larson, it'll probably be Byron. It's tough, though. I have Truex, Byron, Larson all projected almost very similar ownership. So it's really just a coin flip there. I think Larson starting in 17th probably is going to project better in most places. So I could see him getting the slight bump there. But we have seen people getting the practice bump now. So it could be Byron. It'll be close. Chris says, Hamlin, Busch, Keselowski, and Gibbs for tournaments. Bench. I'm not sure what the bench means. But Hamlin, Reddick, Harvick, and Stenhouse. You mean like for Cat? I'm confused what the bench means. So I'm not totally sure. I like the drivers you name, but this means their bench lineup, like that's your second option. I'm not really sure. What's up, Kevin? Reddick, Chastain, Bowman, Truex. Should I go with Byron, Bell, or Blaney as my last driver in? Well, you already have Chastain, so I don't really want to play Bell with him. Other than the Chastain, though, probably going with Byron there. I'd say he's my favorite. What is up, Xander? Nice to see you, sir. So his thoughts on Bell, Blaney, Harvick, Jones, LaJoy, and Stenhouse. I mean, I'm not like totally against it. I do think Harvick's a bit expensive, but if he just doesn't fully suck today, I don't think it's a bad lineup. But it is nice to see you, Zan. Bull says, ask everyone to say a prayer for my Reds. They are officially dead. Thank goodness. We all know the best team in Ohio is the one right here. And we also have the best boxer in the league as well. Jose Ramirez with a nice clean right hook yesterday to Tim Anderson. It was awesome. It's probably my favorite moment in Cleveland history, honestly. Better than a Super Bowl. It's sweet. Jeremy says, sure, go Braves, go Penske. Underdog picks. So Underdog, their numbers changed. Like, I liked the numbers last night, but I don't like what they are now. It's like, let me check it. So we have on Underdog. I do like Truex better than 6.5. That's still there. I like Bubba better than 12.5. Unfortunately, that's at 11.5. I think you're cutting it too close there now. And then I also like Byron better than 6.5, but that is now at 6. But he also has his lap lead prop at 15.5. Seems a bit low for me. He's averaging around 56 at these track types, so I don't mind the laps led over on Byron. But that's really about it. I think everything else kind of sucks. Pat says, like an AJ and Haley combo with potential lap leaders. What do you think? No, it's fine. Totally fine, Pat. You got to get some cheapies down there anyway. I don't mind getting the double colleague in there. How is Burton on intermediate tracks? I'm going to guess pretty bad. Let me recheck it, though. Yeah, if you're looking at Burton, 6-race sample size, average running position at 25.1. Does have a few top 20s mixed in, but it's not because he's running that well. It's just... So yeah, it hasn't been amazing for Burton. It could be worse, though. Also, I got about 25 minutes to build, so hopefully I can catch up to the chat here at some point. Because I gotta build still. Let me see if Bob said anything on Twitter. Anything important, if this is actually gonna start on time or not. Bob says, sounds like track is close to being ready. Cover's coming off cars. There's a threat of a quick bit of rain over the next 20 minutes. Yeah, that rain is kind of building right behind the track, so we will see. I feel like it's like as soon as we're about ready to go, it's going to start raining, and then we go to pit road, but we will see what happens. What is the average cautions at Michigan? I don't know the exact number. I want to sound cool and lie to you like I know, but I don't. Yeah, I'd probably have to look at Racing Reference and add some stuff up, but I don't think we really have time for that. I don't really think it matters too much, though, anyway. Larson or Bell? I would go with Larson. Stack Hendrick with McDowell in the joint GPP. Thanks, Chris. I think that's fine, Tim. And no problem at all. I keep getting 200, 600 left over. That's fine. You don't have to use all your salary, especially in NASCAR. It's one of the sports that you never mind leaving money on the table. Thoughts or criticism for GPP? Truex, Blaney, Reddick, Bowman, Jones, and Custard. Custer will probably be your killer there. Everything else looks good, though. Larson is going to win. He might. I mean, he's definitely got a decent shot at it. Busch or Gibbs or Suarez for DraftKings GPP? I would prefer Gibbs. Which of the top guys shouldn't you pair together? I just don't really like... You can pair any of these guys together. It's just I don't really like Bell and Ross together. It's just not that many laps, so I don't really want to... But anything else is fine. Like, you can play Bell Byron, you can play Bell Truex. I don't have a problem with that. Now, you might not want to go like Larson, Harvick, and then not grab a guy like Bell or Ross. Like, if you're doing that, I think you need one of the guys, at least on the front row or close to it, just to get some dominant points early on. Hilly's a lame duck. Who knows? But I've always laid off of them. Play some Dinger. I do like Dinger today. Jay says Larson dinner. I am hungry for dinner. Although I think lunch needs to come up here soon. Wallace, Byron, Gibbs, LaJoy. I don't think that looks bad. What is up, Gabriel? Nice of you to stop by. Thoughts on Hill? I don't really want to touch Hill too much back there. I just don't think he's going to have much speed. Our lineup's built based on a rain shortened, officially called raised. A good idea. Not something I want to do. I just don't really think it makes much of a difference. Byron, Truex, Reddick, Wallace, Haley, LaJoy, or the other choice is Larson, Byron, Blaney, Bowman, Haley, Gilly. Which do you prefer? Kind of like the Byron, Truex, Reddick, Wallace one a little bit better there, Pugsley. And I do appreciate the donut. Thank you very much. But I think that first one looked a little bit better. Any thoughts on Almirola? Not super high on the Stewart Haas cars, although Almirola popped a little bit for me, but nothing to get too excited about. So he's only a guy that I play at the optimizer, filters him in a little bit. Best value? Let me check. As far as cheap drivers are concerned, it's like Jones and Stenhouse. What's up, Sean? It says Larson, Byron, Elliott, Ross, and Gibbs on FanDuel. Thoughts? I think I might have that lineup, Sean. I might have that. If not, it's very close to it, but I do like it. Trying to nail that cheap car, 6,500 or less on DraftKings. I mean, McDowell, Haley, two top ones right there for me. Barry or Priest? I don't really love Priest today, but I would go Priest over Barry. Steve says, hope you stacked the Phillies today. Stott 3-run shot in the first. Oh, great. My pal Eric won't let me hear the end of any Phillies, so I always hate when they do well. I don't realistically only have 15, 16 drivers to choose from each week with a random LaJoy Yaley type. I wish DK would do something different with the scoring up top. Pretty much. I mean, obviously not everybody can be a good play because it's just not how it works in a 40-car field, but I'm not really sure what else I'd do different, though. Unless you want to make like a captain mode, but I don't think I would like that at all. Took out Burton for McDowell. Thoughts? I mean, I think McDowell's just overall this season been a lot better, so probably roll with that. LaJoy or Haley last man in? I'd probably go with Haley. Thoughts on Ross today? If you're not playing Bell, get some exposure to Ross in case it leads to early laps. Do I like Hamlin and Blaney 30% the 20 max? That's a fair range to be in. I mean, I'm not against that. Sorry if it seems like I'm going fast, but I do have lineups to build, so I'm trying to roll through here kind of quick. Oh, you missed the right hook spread? Just look up Jose Ramirez on Twitter. He really knocked out the White Sox shortstop. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Braves are a dynasty? Yeah, their team is just not fair. Not fair at all. Yes, I like Bubba today. Quite a bit, Jason. Yeah, I mean, tires don't matter at Michigan, so it's definitely going to have to be some sort of strategy. Doug says, is 205.9K viable in cash day? Is more balanced safer? Yeah, I feel like I'd only want one driver in that range. It's like a LaJoy. I think it's probably the best way to go about it. What's your cash game plays before you go? I'd say Bowman, Byron, Larson. Those are like the top guys in cash right now. Lower ownership, Dinger or Stenhouse. I think Dinger will have lower ownership than Stenhouse right now. Bull says Reddick, Bubba, Larson, Gibbs, Elliott on FanDuel. Yeah, I mean, you can just build some amazing lineups on FanDuel. Like, you don't have to use any scrubs whatsoever, and you can have a really nice balanced build, even with using Larson. Haley, he's just a fine cheap play. I mean, I don't really have a strong take on the guy, but starting in 26, he should be a top 25 contender. That's really all you need. No Kyle Busch today. I'm not going to completely fade the guy. Starting in 8th, I mean, I think he can probably contend for a top 5, but I'm just not sure if he's going to dominate over the likes of some of the Hendrick guys or the Gibbs cars up front. I'm not sure I can play Custer on DraftKings Bull. I'd probably try to find a different cheap play. Appreciate the super chat there, Jude. Says, so Gilly over Custer? Yeah, I would go Gilly over Custer. He's in just better equipment. I feel a lot more comfortable with that. And thank you for the dono. Jeffrey says, go Martin Truex Jr. I'm with you. I got to bet on him to win. Wouldn't mind cash on that. Austin Hill, not really a fan. Thoughts on Barry? He's in an awful car. Starting in 35th, though, he should be able to gain 5-ish spots, but I'm not sure the ceiling's super high on the guy. Denny says, dude, go make your picks opening ceremony. We got this, Danny. I'm a last-minute cruncher. We got this. 15 minutes to go green. I appreciate you guys' concern. I probably should go build my lineups. I mean, I already did my single entry in 3 max, but I got to do some 20 max and 150. But that will not take me long. I do this almost every single week, so this is not new. But we are cutting it a little bit close this time around. Got to add some spice to it, you know. The sweat to actually get the lineups in before the actual race sweat. But I think I caught up to the chat. I do appreciate everyone being here. It was a fun one. Hopefully the rain stays away. I'm not sure what's going to happen. We are about to get hit with some rain, though, pretty soon. So we're not sure how long that'll last. I don't know how long it'll take to dry. So just got to hope for the best here. But I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.